Before we get into it, this video talks about my relationship with my body, including body dysmorphia and previous eating disorders. If this is something that is triggering to you, then I ask that you either skip this video or leave whenever you need to. When I started filming this video, it was meant to be a cute little sew-along of a bias cut slip dress I was making to attend a wedding. But as I went along, I was pulled into something I wasn't quite ready for. One of the things I love the most about sewing is that I get to make clothes to fit my body exactly as it is in that moment. Wearing clothes that I made makes me feel creative, capable, and when the fit is just right or it complements my style perfectly, I feel truly unstoppable. But over the years of sewing, I've also found that it tugs at my triggers, especially my body dysmorphia. And sometimes, without even realizing it, I spiral. Making this dress was one of those spiral moments for me. The thing is, when you make your own clothes, you have to get comfortable with seeing how things fit you. You have to get comfortable with looking at where things are tugging or where they aren't fitting properly. You have to really sort of look at your body as neutrally as possible because you're getting really close to it in a lot of different scenarios. You're looking at drag lines on your pants. You're looking at why things fit weird along your back or along your belly. And you have to really separate yourself as you diagnose these issues because as much as you want to think that it's your fault, it really is just you trying to fit the clothes to your body. But it can be a challenge, especially if you've dealt with body issues in the past like I have. And I came up against this in a way that I really wasn't expecting when I was making this dress. And I thought I would share it with you because I know I'm not alone in feeling this. And if I can be a little vulnerable and open and honest with my struggles, then maybe it helps one of you realize that you're not alone in how you're feeling either. I've often chosen to make patterns that are a little bit more on the oversized side of things. And so it really shouldn't have come as any surprise to me that when I was making this slim-fitting bias cut dress, that I would run into some issues around sizing, around fitting, and around overall feeling good in my clothes, in my body while wearing this dress. Against my better judgment, I ignored the instructions that said that after sewing the French seams, the dress would likely get a little bit tighter. And yet, I did it anyways. I sewed them way too small, and when I tried on the dress, I just felt absolutely horrible. I looked in the mirror and it was just tugging on every part of my body that I didn't want it to tug on. I didn't feel beautiful. And I know that this was even in a state that it wasn't nearly close to being done, but for some reason I felt so triggered. I felt so awful. And so I had to give the dress a rest for the evening. So yesterday I ended up doing the side seams and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, except I did forget one key thing, and that's when you're sewing on the bias, what happens is it tends to shrink widthwise and lengthen. So the bias stretches down, and because it stretches down, it brings the fabric in. So I thought it was feeling a bit big, so I sewed the side seams a little bit bigger than I normally would, and then as a result it's feeling a bit tight. So I'm gonna get out my seam ripper. I really wish I didn't have to seam rip this fabric. I think it's gonna be okay. I returned to it the next day. I had to undo all the work that I had done the day before. I had to rip out the side seams. I had to sit there for an hour and just undo everything I had done, and it puckered the fabric. I even put a hole in it, and I felt so upset and so silly that I had tried to make this dress smaller than I needed it to be, that I had tried to squeeze into something that I didn't need to squeeze into, that I could have left it at the size that it was and it would have looked beautiful. It would have been perfect. And it was. When I sewed it at the proper seam allowance, it was perfect. It fit me absolutely beautifully at the bigger size that I had cut. And yet I couldn't get over the fact that I had cut this bigger size, that it would make me feel better to wear the size that fit me rather than trying to squeeze into the smaller size. When I finished the dress, it was really more beautiful than I was expecting. It came together perfectly, it fit me perfectly, It looked beautiful on my skin. Everything about it was absolutely stunning. It was honestly way nicer than I was even anticipating it being. And going to the wedding, I was so struck by how I felt simultaneously so proud of this thing that I had made, and yet so uncomfortable in my own skin, in this dress, in my body, and I couldn't wait to take it off at the end of the night. I was so happy to be done with it. And the thing with this dress is, as beautiful as it is, I think it's just a symbol of me trying to be something that I'm not. It's me trying to squeeze into a space that isn't quite for me, that doesn't make me feel good, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. What I love making, what I feel good in time after time, are clothes that empower me, that I feel confident in, that I'm proud to say that I made. And as a result, I wear the clothes differently. I feel more myself in them. A big part of it is that I just exude a lot more confidence. I don't look at myself negatively for this whole experience. In fact, I look at myself with extreme empathy because I put so much pressure on myself, and in the end, it really wasn't worth it to feel any of that. But most importantly, I think I know to not put myself in a situation again where I'm doubting my body, where I'm critiquing my body because I tried to squeeze it into a smaller size. That's not the point of this practice. That's not the point of making my own clothes. The point of making my own clothes is to make things that I feel like a star in, to make things that I feel proud of, that I feel excited to wear. Clothes are just fabric, and it shouldn't have had the power over me that it did. And I want to make a promise to myself to not put myself in that position again. This was a really eye-opening experience for me, and I'm really pleased that I was able to find it in me to share it with you, because I think it's important that we can talk about these things. And I also think that it's just a part of the sewing process I haven't opened up about before, but it's something that is really real to me. It's an experience that I've had in the past. It's one that I hopefully don't have again, but I'm prepared for, and I think I know now that I can do things to not feel this way, but ultimately if they do come up, I plan on just holding myself with empathy and being as soft and gentle and easy with myself as I can be. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you can give yourself some grace as well as you move on in the world and navigate this fun and complicated practice that is making our own clothes. I will see you next time. Bye.